If you haven't subscribed already, ring that bell to get notified when new movies are posted. Hey guys, Chris Young here from HomeKit Geek, the channel where we try to bring you new smart home content every single week, focusing on Apple HomeKit, on Amazon's Madam A, the Echo ecosystem, Google Assistant, Home Assistant, air quality stuff, and just generally look at anything that's going to try to make your house a little easier to live in, your life a little easier, a little more comfortable. All that. If that sounds like it's something that might interest you, please consider subscribing below. Today, we're going to be looking at something nice and shiny. Shiny. The Eve Power Strip. So this is from Eve Systems. I'd like to say thank you to Eve for providing this to me. This was a review unit provided to me. Thank you guys. I don't know that. This is a product I've been waiting on for probably 6 months since it was first announced last year at I think there was a German trade show, CES, they talked about it. This is available not just in the North American version, which I've got, but also in a European version. It is definitely something I think that you're going to want to check out. And as power bars go, you can see this is not your parents' version, right? No ugly white plastic here that you're going to hide behind a curtain. Let's check it out. The Eve Energy Strip is the latest addition from Eve Home, formerly Elgato, into their HomeKit portfolio. And one of the things I really love about Eve is that they are all in on HomeKit. They actually don't support Madam A or Google or any of the other ecosystems. They are a fully 100% focused on giving you the best HomeKit experience possible. And the Energy Strip is the latest addition. And again, the other thing that I really like about this particular brand, Eve, right now, is they are really making what I think are beautiful devices. They've really kind of standardized on this black and steel or chrome aesthetic amongst all their Generation 2 devices. This is really the next addition up from the Eve Energy Plug, which has been a like fantastically popular product. One of the main differences being that they moved from Bluetooth over to Wi-Fi for this particular device, which I think is a great move. Bluetooth can sometimes have connectivity issues. Wi-Fi tends to be a little more stable. So looking at some of the features, it's Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz, 15 amp up to 1800 watts, surge suppression, child suppression. It is 1.4 by 2.6 by 10.8 inches with a 75-inch cable, and it does have the energy consumption tracking in this, which is a good thing. And as you can see, this is not your parents' kind of white power bar that you want to hide behind something. This is something that could easily, you could have a lamp or something in your living room that you're willing to show this off as a product, right? Something to be proud of. They actually won, as you can see on the box, an award just for the design of this. Looking at the box, works with Apple HomeKit, and again, it is a Eve product. You can see very clearly that it does work with Apple HomeKit, and there is no Amazon, Madam A, or Google Home on here. So I love the attention that Eve takes to all details, including the packaging. So you can see here on the cover of it, you've got a really nice picture of what this might look like in a house, if you choose to display it that way. You've got the packaging. It's not going to slide around in here at all. And if you look there in the bottom right, you'll see those 3 buttons, which you may be tempted to believe are USB ports, which is similar to something you would get as the VocoLink or the Kugeek power bars, but they are not USB ports. There was no USB ports included in this particular device. Now, that may be something that people view as a negative. Personally, because of the aesthetic of the device, I think it's a positive, right? If you have a device that's this beautiful, if you're going to spend, 20 extra bucks, $30 extra to get something that is this nice aesthetic, you're probably not going to have these USB cables all hanging out of it. Right, so this is really something you would want to have, maybe some lamps, things like that you might want to some legacy analog lamps that you might want to automate, which is something that this would be perfect for. Again, in the package, you've got the Eve light strip, the documentation, all of that is included in here, and the device itself, and it has got quite a long cord, which again, I also really appreciate that the distance there, so you can kind of pull it out and make sure that this doesn't get hidden, because yes, it's a power bar, but it's not that kind of white plastic power bar that you would want to stuff in behind your TV and make sure that nobody sees. This is something you're not afraid of people seeing. So for the setup, this is really basic. It's your HomeKit setup. You go into Wi-Fi, set up new device there in the bottom. And this is something that's changed in recent versions of iOS. It's going to say add to home and Wi-Fi immediately. Before, we used to be able to go in and say add to Wi-Fi, and then you'd have to go in and add the device. Now you can do that all in one step. We're going to scan in the QR code, which is provided either on the Eve Energy itself or on the documentation package. Definitely check out Home Pass, which is a application available for iOS, so you can save these so you don't ever end up losing them. I'll put a link in the video details for that. And essentially, you just click on that done button and it will add the accessory. Now, this may take 45 seconds, a minute in some cases, because what we're doing is we're actually transferring over our Wi-Fi credentials from our iPad or iPhone directly over to the device, and it's going to take time for that to happen first and then to connect to your Wi-Fi. So once we do that, we can go in here and we'll put this in My Office. And it looks like there may be a bug here because if you noticed, default room is still showing, so it looks like it's not actually capturing that. So that's a HomeKit issue. That's not an Eve Energy issue. So what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of flip through that, go find the device, put it in the proper room, and make sure that that works. So as suspected, HomeKit didn't quite capture that room properly, so we're going to go into the default room, which is where it put it. And we're going to now modify this to the proper room. And when we do this, we should see automatically that Eve Energy Strip 1, 2, and 3, which is the same physical device, should all move out of default room and move into My Office. There we go. So we're going to go down into My Office again and scroll to the bottom. And we should see, there we go, Eve Energy Strip 2, 3, and 1 all available to us so that we can turn them on or off as needed. And if we go down to the bottom here, we can get the serial number, the firmware version, all that kind of stuff. So let's now take a look over at the Eve systems or the Eve Home application itself. In my opinion, the Eve Home app is definitely the top of the vendor-provided apps at this time. So one of the reasons typically that you'll need a vendor-provided app is to be able to get firmware updates for your specific accessories, which is what we're going to do here is we're going to go look and to make sure that if we've got a new firmware version for the Eve Energy Strip. But some vendors spend more time on it than others. And Eve, I think, has done just a phenomenal job at making sure that the interface is there, that all the functionality is there, that they've exposed all the goodness that HomeKit has to offer. So if you're looking here, you can see we've got consumption, projected costs, so it will even project your energy usage based on your historical usage into the future, which is really a nice touch. It's kind of lets us get control of our energy usage. I would love to see them integrate with something like Sense, but we'll see if that happens. So as we scroll down here to the bottom for the Eve Energy Strip, there we go, which is, you can see Eve Energy Strip 1, 2, and 3, which it gets exposed as 3 different devices in HomeKit, is physically one device. There is a firmware update available. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. And through a little video magic, we're actually going to skip through the entire update and just get to the end of it. Okay, so 0 seconds remaining, updating HomeKit configuration. Again, little details like this. I love the fact that Eve has really made sure that we understand what's going on. They're communicating what's actually been done here. We've got the new firmware version up to 1.04, and everything seems to be good. You know, I've seen other applications where you don't really understand whether the update was successfully done or not. They don't communicate as well in some other apps. So again, kudos to Eve for really making sure that this is a solid process. So if we go down and look at the Eve Energy Strip again, there's a couple things I wanted to show you here, which is so going back into the Eve Energy Strip details, the other thing I want to draw your attention to is the child lock. So the child lock feature is actually really cool as well in that it allows us to prevent our kids or adults or pets from manually using the buttons on the Eve Energy Strip to be able to turn the power on and off. So we can truly just hand this over to our automations and just let that happen, right? The other thing, as you're seeing on the screen right now, is the docs that are included, the user guide right in the app. So the quick start guide directly in the app is awesome. So when you do have to factory reset, if you do, all your information is right there. So final thoughts on the Eve Energy Strip. I'm in love with the product. I knew I was going to love it even before I got my hands on it. Just the look. I'm a huge fan of what Eve has done with the new aesthetic. They've really made smart home products for adults. So I wouldn't put this in like a kid's room. This is not a product I would hide behind a curtain somewhere. If you're going to invest in the Eve Energy Strip, it's because you have a spot that probably your power bar is going to be showing. right? And this is a aesthetically pleasing way to do that. The Wi-Fi works, no issues, no disconnects that I've seen so far. The fact that it can do full 15 amp, 1800 watts out of this is just wonderful. Anything I can run off a normal plug, I can run off of this. The surge protection is there. The child protection means that I'm not going to have anybody accidentally turning things off, which is great as well. And the power cable is just super, super long, which is awesome. The energy consumption, personally, I'm not going to use it much as I've got the Sense already installed and tracking in my house, so I've got kind of something else doing that. But it's there if you want it as well. If there's anything I missed, please feel free to ask questions or put comments in the details in the video comments below. You know where to do that. What do you guys think? Is this a product? Would you pay a little bit of a premium, a little bit more for a product with this kind of aesthetic in your home? Subscribe if you haven't already. Like, shares, always appreciated, and I'll see you guys next time.